to describe people as failed people in marriage. What about the Bible? The Bible has given us your model for success in marriage, and it tells you clearly. And the clarity in Genesis, the leaving of the man to the woman, the clarity in the book of Psalms, the book of Proverbs. I was studying to it, talks about the gracious woman, the woman builds her home, a foolish woman destroyed, a foolish man destroyed, and Paul now came up and remodeled it and gave us the stages of how marriages should look like. Jesus, the head of the church, man, the head of the home, woman, the mothering of the children, and children following like that. And in Psalm 128 from verse 1, now outlined first, he that fears the Lord, a man that fears God, then his wife, then the children shall be like an olive tree, olive plant planted around it. So it's simple. There is no failed marriage picture in the Bible. There's no lesson in the Bible that God did not give us to give us direction. So if you want to learn anything about life, just go to the Bible. The Bible has shown us how to be married. You can be successful. If everybody failed the marriage in this life, you can read the Bible and be successful. And simple, understand respect. I've told you, understand respect. I'm not saying study respect. Understand what respect is. When you know what respect is, you know what honor is. If you know what honor is, you know what love is. If you know what love is, you know what commitment is. If you know what commitment is, you know what selflessness is. If you know what selflessness is, you will now know what boundaries is all about. So all of these traits are traditional backgrounds, whether by spirituality, whether by traditionality. These are the factors that will aid you to avoid crisis in marriage. And remember, how you think is not how life works. It is studying how life works, then bringing your thinking to how life works is what will make you successful in marriage. So it is how God works, and you turn that God working to life, and then you start ethically handling your mind, because your mind has to be handled in marriage. Your mind has to be handled. You have to stop doing certain things. You have to start listening a lot in marriage. A lot of listening has to be done. A lot of listening has to come into marriage. A lot of reasoning. These two things are very powerful, listening and reasoning. We must have that a lot, and stop looking at examples that are not okay. I don't care how many marriages have failed. The Bible gives us a guide on how you can succeed in it. So let us look at the areas that things succeed and stop looking at the things that cannot be successful. And when we start killing that, we'll be successful in marriage. Go away from attention and build attraction. You should try to go away from attention and build attraction. And if you want to build attraction, it takes time to build attraction. And one of the things we are trying to do today is to seek for people's approval. And we do that a lot. Why are they rejecting my calls? Why are they not responding back my text messages? Why are they not coming? Why are they not asking after me? Those are the things we try to do to get people's attention. We hear testimonies of people's color, people's traveling profile, people's educational profile, people's skill profile. So we seek for their approval. And the Lord is saying to me clearly, build your own attraction. When it is strong enough, you gain your own attention. Let us build our own attraction. When we are solid enough, we will gain access to attention. Let's do the best to be prompt in what we do. We delay people a lot. We take our systems of how we operate to affect others. Some people are very smart in doing things, some are very slow. So what is the balance here? Be prompt at all times. Promptness is a very key thing to the progressions of life. So let's learn to be prompt. And if we all learn how to be prompt, we will reduce the crisis rate of the earth. And I'm going to explain three things. A conversation that was supposed to be held earlier, that was delayed, when it is finally held, it creates more crisis. A work that was supposed to be done, that was not the one it was supposed to be done, at the time when the person now feels it has to be done, too many things have cropped in. It will not delay the weight of that job. Something that was supposed to be repaired and was kept and not repaired and refused or neglected, the time you want to repair it, it has created more damage. So let us try to be prompt, solving problems when we have to solve them, meeting needs when we have to meet them, doing things when we have to do them, not because it is convenient for us, because it's something that has to be done at a time when it's supposed to be done. When I was growing up, I want to be very personal with you. When I was growing up as a pastor, people fear me a lot. You'll be so afraid that you'll be making mistakes when you're around me. So I made myself look very fiery, young, but I had so much command and control of people. Sometimes I look at myself now and I say, sometimes something will tell me, it's better you were like that. But the reasonable part of me will tell me, this is who you are. Because people are not supposed to fear you. People are supposed to honor you. Because a man who honors you will respect you. The man who fears you is only afraid of you. He does not respect you. And we live in a world where people want to see people fear them, not honor them. So because of that picture, we are not producing correctly. And I want to cancel everyone. Your productions in life are proofs of sounds and actions. Nobody knows your mind, but people will see your actions and read your mind. That's not what I meant, but what you said is what somebody will take. How you acted is what somebody will take. I'm not in your mind, so I don't know what you are thinking about. But the things you are doing, the way you are talking, how you are acting is the message already. So let us try to review before we talk and try to review before we act. Because if you are acting from a certain picture in your mind and it is not true, when you make your conclusion and act and it was wrong, you have reduced yourself. And that's what so many marriages are going through today. You saw a picture, you didn't do a study of it, you just acted, and then later you discovered that you were just carrying images on your head. That has reduced your value in that marriage. Because I should expect you to know before you act. Now you spoke without details. So let us fight to have the control of details before we take actions and before we make statements. If we don't have these things put together and we start talking and start acting, we'll look like men without guidance. So let's try, before we respond, let's know why we are responding. There must be why before you make your response. We need to learn how to make conversations. As I try to study life, I discovered that many persons don't know how to make conversations. And we don't know the responses to give. And because we don't know the responses to give, we are producing things we are not supposed to.
Beautiful morning to you this morning. Thank you so much for joining us in Gospel Manager. Amazing time and amazing episode we're going to be having this morning at Gospel Manager. Thank you to everyone who had been part of the Gospel Manager stream and to everyone who also have been sending in their questions. Your questions have gone a long way in educating and enlightening our viewers and also ourselves as God's servants shares light and also wisdom and profound counsel on how to navigate the difficult parts that are stressed in the question. So it has been of an immense blessing to all of us in the Gospel Manager fold. Now remember, you could send in your questions via the email and WhatsApp text message and telegraph. The email is thegospelmanager@gmail.com, and the WhatsApp and Telegram text only number is +234-9047-533019. The numbers will also be on the screen as the stream is on. Now also remember, if you are watching us from wherever you are, please kindly indicate so as to know how much of a blessing that the Gospel Manager had been to you. Now remember, God's servant is here with me, and I'm going to leave the floor now for him to give the opening remarks and set the course for this morning episode. Good morning, Daddy.
Yes, good morning. How are you? I am doing a study on claims, the claims that people make. And then sometimes it's really, some claim intellectual property, some claim power, some claim relationship rights, some claim leadership rights, some claim all kinds of claims. And sometimes the claims we tend to express is the reason why there are certain lacks we see around our community. Because of that claim that you are super intelligent, it limits you from learning more. Because of that claim that you have the right for a certain relationship, it limits you from being sensitive to that relationship because you don't know it's your right in the place. So that claim that some persons is in a working environment, they are claiming that it's their right to do certain things, but they are not sensitive when to do it, how to do it. Because when you get so claim addicted, it affects production and it affects attentiveness. So let us check this nature, the claim of I know better. They now create alternatives. See people in a system who are not committed to it. They are aiding claim of either something they feel is not right. So they make references to some other thing that they feel is right. So they try to damage what they have. And all of those claims have really created certain below standard of man. And I want people to check it and deal with these issues wisely.
Thank you so much, sir. So beware of claims that you make, whether in relationship, life, business, whatever it is. That's the counsel of God's servant to us this morning. Now, yesterday and in recent times, we've had a profound teaching series from God's servant for his recent message unveiling the wicked patterns of life. It was a deep expository, and also we had questions from those who streamed the service yesterday and the services recently. And we're going to take those questions and starting off because it is important based on the teaching God's servant had given to us that many of us behave in certain ways, no matter how we have been counseled, corrected, but because it's a pattern, we tend to fall back to the same issues, the same mistakes, the same mishaps that is in the pattern of the family that we are either married to or we actually come from. So we're going to take a series of questions as being sent between yesterday and this morning. The first says, "Good morning, Bishop. I listened to the message. It was absolutely profound. I'm glad I was part of the stream. But Pastor, many people find themselves stuck in circles of repeated failure, addiction, or delay in life. Now, how can a believer recognize and confront these negative patterns that seem to hold them back? Because some people don't even know that it's a pattern to even start with."
People know. It's just that we are not wise people. It's either we are not spiritually wise or we choose to remain blind. Let's use marriage. If God gives you a person who has capacity to progress, that is a pattern that has, and you have a very poor pattern. That marriage alone has changed your pattern. If you are willing now to say, this home is my home, and I will make sure that I follow this path. But some persons will still be in that situation and still be treated on the path of their past. Sometimes it's a church. Sometimes it's salvation gives you that right. But they get into church, they are not properly born again. They are not serving God effectively. They are not receiving from their spirit man. So it's as if taking from the past and sustaining the past. So all we need to do is to first recognize that we have a problem somewhere and look for those who have better clouds around themselves. And please, I keep saying that if you choose your friends carefully, you have choose life carefully. If I have a problem with my background and I check the people I go with and they don't have, that alone is 1%, 99% out of your past. If you can stay there with them. And that's why people don't know why they are close to pastors. You know, some people think they are close to pastors because they will go to school or because they will solve problems. Sometimes it's for liberation of patterns. Some 90% of the time, which someone like me will not tell you, is to take you out of your past. I'll never tell you that. Some people are blind, they are not prayerful, so they need to hear everything from you. Because if you are prayerful, you will know. God will speak to you about it. So they think everything is all about, I was instructed. There are some that comes from God to you directly. So we need to get sensitive first to hear from God. Why was God talking to Joseph? Just imagine God did not speak to Joseph through dreams. He wouldn't have gotten anywhere because that encounter with Joseph is what triggered all the event of his life. So sometimes we are not hearing from God. So somebody now comes and instructs you because you'll be seeing it as a personal instruction, not from God. So you just be playing with it. So God has a way of taking us out of patterns. But we are the reasons why we are still there. We are just still stuck in that system. And until things begin to play themselves, we start trying to look for help in multiple places. That's very wrong.
One thing that you would observe with God's servant and the Honor World International is that life situations, especially in the most profound way, these are very important issues affecting so many people in life, in business. I know a family who they are all singers, from father down to mother and even to uncles and cousins. But out of all of them, their grandfather was a chorister, their father is a chorister, their uncles are choristers, they sing in one sort of way. They have songs written, but none of them have risen. No one song is even heard, even though they've produced so much. That is a pattern. And I say that to buttress this question. I know God's servant has taught a little on it. But this person says, "Good morning, Bishop. Yesterday's message was very profound. We often hear of generational patterns in terms of divorce, poverty, sickness, or even early death that run into families. What does the Bible say about breaking generational curses, and how can families step into a new spiritual legacy for a new generation to be birthed out of that family?"
Salvation is the first reality of that exchange. And two, your commitment for continuity in salvation. Because if you just say, I'm born again, and there is no aggressive engagement in God, you are still not doing anything with that departure. So when we get saved, we must get aggressive with the things of God. And it's that aggressiveness that starts creating a platform for you. As I earlier said, the church has given us so much privileges that we are not using. Number one of the privileges is that the church gives you access to have an exchange of name, to have an exchange of parenting. And that's what the church offers you. So it's your choice to choose to follow a past and choose a future. So we choose to follow a past and then keep expecting that our life gets better. So if we want those changes, then we must recognize salvation, then choose a new path. And that new path, if you are not serious with God, you have to be serious with Him. You have to serve Him. And if the name is a problem, you have to check the name again and rechange it as Jacob did through the indications of heaven. And two, you must get yourself close to certain practical engagement in church that has your name on it. I've always said this to people, try and get a sector where your name is attached to in church. And people don't know that you must have a sector in the church that your name is attached to it. You are the reason why that thing is working. If you have a bad foundation, you must have that kind of thing in church. People don't have it. It was because of Joseph, Egypt survived. It was because of David, Israel was sustained. And it was their name that people were mentioning. Go to Joseph. Go to David. And this is what we play with. We don't understand that kind of life. Go to Joseph. They didn't say go to a system. Joseph was in a system, but they were mentioning Joseph more than the system. David in a system, they called David more than the system. That is the thing that you do that cleans a past faster in your life. So because these things are spiritual, when they start coming, there is a bridge. There's a fight back because you have grown energy in the spirit. So that foundation now fights on your behalf. Some people just attend church. They just visit church. They just sing. They just dance. They just pray. They don't have any solid growth in church. That's risky as long as I'm concerned. Very risky. And you can tell how believers are living their lives. They confess Christ, they confess good words, they confess powerful words, but the results are different. Because they are not growing any banner that bears their name on it in church. They can easily leave a thing to die. They can easily abandon things to go and sit down. They are never involved. If you ask them, let me use the choir as example. Outside the leader and assistant, is there any person in the choir that has told himself that I will be the choir? With me, this choir will stand. You become the choir. You become the usher department. You become the media yourself. You have neglected things because of the media. You have shut down offers because of the media. You are doing that because you know your past, and you know it is these decisions I am taking here, surrounded with this presence, that will be able to fight that past. You may not see the results today, but you see the results tomorrow. I am a part of it. I'm a clear example of that.
All right, so this next question says, Bishop, this is from Boniface Josiah. He said, I am currently in Adamawa, but I stay in Jos Plateau, streaming from Adamawa currently. The message yesterday was very powerful. Bishop said that Abraham used hospitality to break his own pattern, while Jacob used appeasement to break his own pattern. So my question would be, how do we discern the kind of approach to use to break our own patterns? And secondly, is it possible, Bishop, that, for example, my father broke a pattern, but then I was liberated, but my children came back to that pattern? Is that possible?
I just said earlier that investment towards tomorrow is very important. I will give myself as an example. I was checking my father's name and I wanted to change it because of the event I saw in their lives. I didn't like the name. But when I studied, the name has a powerful meaning. So I kept it. I kept it because it has a powerful meaning. But I wanted to change it when I noticed the track event in my family. I have no mercy for backgrounds, because background will not raise my future. It is what I plant today that will raise the future for my children tomorrow. If my family keeps an inheritance from me, and there is a spiritual problem behind that inheritance, it will still not get to my children. If they get to it, they will still have the trickles of problems. So, if you want to solve that, you must be cautious about it. And that's why I say Abraham did not have the privileges we have. Abraham had no pastor in his life, had no church. These are the privileges we have today. No pastor, no church. Jacob had no pastor, no church. But these guys were sensing things and entering them. They just sense and they dive into it. Today, people are very careless. People don't sense anything. With all the privileges around the church, they don't nothing. Somebody can be privileged to serve in my office. I'm using that against himself. You are serving me, and you don't know the privileges that comes with serving me. You understand what I'm saying? You're cleaning this altar. You're cleaning the altar. You know the privilege that comes with cleaning the altar. You just do it as if you're cleaning your rug in the house. So the problem is we are not as sensitive as they were. Today's man needs to be instructed. You need to call him and tell him. He can't sense anything. Abraham sensed it. Jacob sensed it and acted. So let's grow to that spiritual capacity where we can sense things and take advantage of the privileges we have around the church. I can name 1,000 of them in the church. Somebody who works at the gate of the ministry that has generational issues can stand on that gate and say, the gate that has been blocked in my foundation, as I keep serving, I open a new one for myself. And he's honest about it. Anytime he stands there to work, that's what he's saying to himself. Somebody who works in the toilet is saying that the smells that comes out of life, that has affected marriage, affected life, affected this. As I clean the dirt of people in church, let the dirt of my background be cleaned up. You already cleaned something there, and you are honest about it. You know, these things are spiritual things that somebody who sing in the choir. As I am traced close to the altar, any day I climb to sing, oh God, let the past be clean, let the new foundation be built for myself. You are cleaning something that you met, what you don't need. In every angle of the church. Somebody who sells books in the studio, who does this in the media. As I sell ministry materials, let whatever has followed the right tops of my destiny, may a rewrite follow as I sell books in the bookshop. As I do video things there, the pictures that has brought shame to my family. As I redo these pictures, may newness be built. Everything in the church has a meaning. But the problem is, if we can get ourselves to the Abrahamic sensitivity and Jacob, which time we have the Holy Ghost? They didn't have the Holy Ghost then. We have the Holy Ghost. And we are not using anything that connects to the Holy Spirit. So we have more problem here because people are not using what God gave us to use. So we are trapped. We are heavily trapped. Privileges are just wasting around the church. Wasting. Somebody is cooking a pastor's food and it's under a course. How? How will you be under a course? You are cooking a pastor's food. You're serving a pastor. How can you be under a course? That is a privilege of a lifetime to come out of a course. Somebody is close to a pastor's bed, dresses it, and has issues. How? That is an avenue to break anything attacking your life. So when the people are not hearing, they will not act. So the Holy Ghost is dead in the inside of people. So they will never take decisions that will lead them to that liberation.
Spiritual sensitivity is the key. and the way out of it. So let's move on to questions beyond breaking wicked patterns. And this one is from Pastor Righteous. He says, "Good morning, Bishop. My name is Pastor Righteous, and I am streaming from Kogi. Sir, please, my question will be, what is the most effective way to build a prophetic gift?"
You see, I'm trying not to build people who are eager to get things done. I build people who understand how things should be done. The prophetic gift is like any other gift in the Bible. And there are no separate way of building any kind of gift. It's simple. Are you born again? You have the Holy Ghost inside of you. Who do you serve? Because the person you serve defines the kind of gift you have. If you serve a prophet, you have the prophetic gift. If you serve a healer, you have a healing gift. So the person who mentors you defines the kind of gift you operate with. So where your service level is what defines that. You don't teach people how to be a prophet. If you come to teach me, I won't listen to you because you cannot teach it. You can only guide. Eli did not teach Samuel. Eli only guided Samuel. Jesus did not teach Peter. Jesus only showed Peter. Elijah did not teach Elisha. Elijah showed Elisha. And Elisha was the one who learned it himself. So we can only guide you. But teaching, we can teach you once in a while. These are the prophetic gift goes. But we cannot. There's certain basics you cannot learn. So the only way to learn it is to serve. Be under mentorship. Be a protege. Spend some time to learn. Observe. Check how the things function. Be honest about it. Be open-minded. Don't criticize. So when you start criticizing it, you're not going to learn anything. Be open-minded. See how it's going. And from there, you're taking notes. I had notes for myself. When I served the prophet, there were specific notes I had. Today, those things are still there. They've not left me. I'm building more of my teaching grace because I know that the prophetic ministry brings people and also loses them. So our generation today needs more of knowledge. So those things are always there. They don't go out. We are going to have a miracle and very soon, in the 27th of June. You see it expressed. I do it once in a while around the church. So it's not dying. It didn't go anywhere. But if you have not served effectively and you feel by reading a book, you prophesy. No. It doesn't work that way. It comes by the laying of hands. The laying of hands. Consistently. Your eyes, your hands. Elijah's own came by observation. Joshua's own came by laying of hands. So it comes by seeing and laying of hands. The more you see, the more you see, the more you see, the more you hear, and laying of hands. The Bible, Paul says, is the stirring of the laying of hands of the presbyter. So that's how these things are built. Whether the healing ministry, the prophetic ministry, the apostolic, and all of that. That's how they develop themselves. But it's basically on guidance.
Philip just dropped a quick one. He said, "Bishop, are they people who are born with these prophetic gifts or are they thrown into it?"
As I said earlier, I like to stay in the part where people have to learn. As I believe that there's no born leader. I can boldly say there's no born prophet. People can claim it. You can claim, as I said earlier, you can claim anything. When you see yourself very intelligent, say, I know I'm intelligent. So people behave intelligently. And they don't give themselves room to learn more. People behave, they have the right manners. They don't give themselves room to be advised. People behave, they know something. They don't give themselves room to learn. So if you claim you were born a prophet, I don't believe in that school. I believe that people should be built into things. Though you had a sense of it, though you had the sense of certain signals, it is how you were trained. Now, Eli was a prophet. Samuel heard God when he was a child. That means the person Samuel spoke to for the first time as a child saw him as a prophet. And it was Eli. Am I correct? But he served Eli. He didn't just get up immediately as God spoke to him. That would have been one of the greatest mistake of Samuel's life. At 12 or at 10, God spoke to him. He now said, now I'm a prophet. I have heard from God. Let me go on. Then who did he speak to? To see how Samuel would have ruined his life. If it is today's Samuel, would have ruined his life. Samuel gave prophecy to Eli, the prophet himself, and spoke about the things that will happen to Eli in the future. And God spoke to Samuel himself directly. And God said, I am God. To Eli. And still remain there and serve Eli. There's nothing you will tell me in this life. You tell me that you heard from God. You are immature. You want to go and... No. Samuel heard God face to face and did not recognize the voice. They went and thought it was your teacher's voice is the voice of God. And thought is the voice of God. And went to Eli, and Eli said, when he speaks, say, your servant hear it. So if Samuel could go and respect program, who read from God directly, then who are you? We need more of that exercise, staying under mentorship more than even Samuel himself. So if you want to get that done, please be trained into it. There's no born leader, no born prophet. Train yourself to it. It will last if you train yourself to it, so you don't make mistakes in the process.
Thank you so much, sir. This next question again is from Pastor Nelson Edozie. He said, good morning, Bishop. I just love the way you are prompt in answering questions. Please, sir, my question is, have you ever gone through a season when your faith felt dry, yet people still expected you to lead and inspire? How did you survive it?
As a man, it happens every day. And it happens because of expectations sometimes. Happens every day. So you just have to, sometimes you try to lie down to sleep. You can't sleep because of what you expect what you expect to see happen. So, but you just have to just pray and allow God and time to take care of it. So it happens every day. And sometimes my disappointment more is when people don't understand how God can work. When I see people don't understand that God can do so much for us. So that bothers me a lot, because there's nothing about this life that is without God. So let's try to know that faith is God and God is faith. And I have seen where my mind tells me no. My spirit man tells me yes. So I've always been there and out, there and out, because I'm a man. But I'm not going to allow those pictures define how I see God. So it's just, I keep sustaining myself. And that's why I like to stay alone all the time. So because I just give myself that privacy to always renew my love for God and my faith for God. So it helps a lot. So some other person hearing me, dependence on people is really the problem sometimes if you're a pastor. Not only, some people think dependence on people is all about money. No, it's not monetary sometimes. Sometimes it's expectations on people. If you're a pastor, is when you see people do certain things around you that you thought should not do. When you hear statements, you see actions, you see less commitment, you see self-centeredness, you see a battle of self more than a battle of we. You know, people are always doing the battle of self in church more than the battle of we are together. So the pastor is doing we are together. The people are doing I am myself. The people are selling self. The pastor is selling we. It's a very difficult scenario. That's why the man must look up to God all the time. All the time. All the time. So you have to look up to God because the people will always show you self. And self comes in various ways. And that's why if you have a need as a pastor, don't talk to a man because they will disappoint you. When you need them, they will not be there. And it's not only money, as I keep saying, they will not be there. But they don't want you to make mistakes. You see, one of the bad things about ministry, they don't want you to make mistakes. But they cannot protect you from making those mistakes. So it's a very difficult scenario. And I pray that God will keep helping men of God to have people who will be so selfless around them. People who will walk towards, look at me please, keeping them longer and keeping them sustained in ministry. Some of the problems pastors have is the people. It's the people. Some of them, it's not devil, it's the people that are creating it for them. So that pastors can live long. Because if a pastor is protected and people serve him selflessly, he will live long and he will succeed. When a pastor has self-centered people around his life, he will die premature and he will not succeed. He will die premature and he will not succeed. No matter how hard you pray for him, he will not succeed. Because the people are self-centered. So self-centered that everything about them is themselves. They don't see the man. He's fighting for we. They are fighting for themselves. So, and that's why faith must grow to a level where you must see God at every frame of your life. Then believing that God will keep touching the people to understand what you are doing. I think that will help. That will help a pastor who is listening to me now. And because it's a I've tried to ask what role will I play, and God tell me you cannot do everything. And it is that I cannot do everything. I mean, man, I also need assistance at one time too. So you can't do everything in life. But I want to encourage any man who is running a church. Please, you should reprogram yourself and believe more on the love of God and your faith in God. Love for God, faith in God. Those two things you must have for yourself. Because people are very self-centered. It's not all about monism. You know, people think everything about life is not monies. There's a lot to do around somebody that is more than monies. That's even more powerful than monies itself. Because if the person has life, he will eat monies. If the man does not have life, how does he eat monies? Check every pastor. Privately, they have health challenges. Why is the man having a health challenge? Find out and ask why is the pastor having. He prays prayerful. He's supposed to have a health challenge. No. It's the people around his life. They don't care for that man. They don't consider that he has things he's trying to build for them. So they take decisions on their private level. They don't consider the man. There's some pastors who don't even have what to eat. Some are even single. They have money, they buy food for others. Nobody cooks food like this and bring to them. Nobody buys slippers for them. And some will not even beg you. Nobody can even remember to buy a t-shirt, singlet. Do you know how painful it is to see somebody you pray for go overseas and take care of his family and doesn't take care of you? You are the reason why the person traveled. You did pray for prayer, they got a contract, they built a house, they bought a car, and you, the pastor, they come and give you 10,000 naira. You know, it's easier to say it's God that takes care of them. So how does God take care of that pastor? You know, from those favors that comes out from people's life. So we need to pay attention to these men of God, because some of them who have not gotten to the peak of the beauty of ministry are really having issues with life. And I pray this will help a lot of pastors.
Right. So going to relationships, and this question is from Dr. Noe. Dr. Noe Uzo. Say, good morning, Bishop. I am Dr. Noe Uzo. I am a relationship expert. There is a question I would love to ask because it happens to be recurrent in most of my sections. Sir, please, how does one rebuild love and trust in a marriage where words have wounded and years have hardened hearts?
I want to take her from where she's coming from and give her a way to handle those issues. One, if we stop being self-centered in our life approach to marriage, we will solve a lot of problems. When you have a conversation with somebody genuinely and say, these are things I don't like, these are things I expect you to change, and the person uses excuses to repeat that error. But that's what people do today. You have conversation with somebody and say, these are things I feel you have to change. And the person now uses excuses to repeat the same error. It's clear to me that anger expressed is what that person is expecting, but does not know how to tell you. Because I had a conversation with you, I spoke about something, and I feel you have to improve in this thing. And then you came back in another format to do that same thing. One, you are disregarding that relationship. Two, you don't have respect for the counsel like the person gave. Three, you don't see a reason why that thing that was discussed will be carried out. So when you see relationship grow to the level where it's become hatred, hardness of heart, these are the processes that led there. So the only way to clean that is to go back to what would have helped it, to those kind of conversations. And let us learn to accept, even when we are in a difficult situation, let's learn to accept and do things to please somebody. Somebody has talked about something 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In a marriage, not in office, marriage. It is important that the person they are speaking to listen to the person. So you see that hardiness of heart is the problem of continual discussions that's not been accepted. So if we go back and discuss those things and they are taking, those scenarios will not play themselves. So it still boils down to going back to the beginning conversation. And then not only having a conversation, the parties involved should take it. While I was coming to this place, I heard two words. If we take advice, and advice must come in two forms. Advice is to correct you and change you. Advice is not for anything. It's two ways, correction and changes. So if advice is not correcting you, if advice is offending you, if advice is condemning you, then advice can't change you. But if you want advice to change you, it will first correct you, then it will change you. But if anytime you are advised, you feel condemned, you feel offended, you feel insulted, you feel abused, then you know the bad part about it, you start getting retrieved. You start getting retrieved. That is one pride on your part. That's you're a very stupid human being. But you should understand that that advice is coming to correct you and also coming to aid you to change. And if it is marriage, then you just have to change. You have to look into those counsels and work on them. You have to do that because anything that is wrong that stays longer will always damage you. I learned that long ago. Anything that is wrong that stays longer will always damage you. So let's be careful. And I pray to help that lady.
Now, God's servant had said one of the ways to curb such issues is unique conversations. Now we want to invite you for one of such conversations happening in the month of June, and it is the factory. Now, God's servant will be having conversations with single ladies and single men on this same live patterning and destiny molding conversations. It's going to be happening in the month of June, and God's servant will be having two sections on that day. Is the 21st of June 2025. Now, the scriptural reference for the factory is Genesis 1 verse 28 and Genesis 27 and verse 19. The venue will be given to us in subsequent episode, but note the date is the 21st of June 2025. The first section is with the ladies, and it is themed The Making of Ladies, and it's from 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. And the second section is The Making of Men, and it's from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's going to be an amazing time for us to share conversations and how to raise above the challenges that had bedridden many ladies and also gentlemen. Make it a date with us, and God bless you as you attend. Also, building up in the month of June also is God's servant special section during service on Sundays for the Jesus Dream for youths and singles. Jesus Dream for youth and singles, and it's in the first service of the Sundays, and also you have the details on your screen. God's servant will be bringing a new teaching series for us to learn from the Jesus Dream, and it's going to be a very remarkable time in God's presence. And also the Jesus Dream for parenting and marriage. It's going to be also on Sundays at the second services at 8:30 a.m. Now the theme for that is the Abigail and Esther's Principle for Successful Parenting and Marriage. And the dates are the 8th and the 22nd of June and the 6th and the 13th of July. Remember, the time again is 8:30, and it's going to be streaming live on all the platforms that you are streaming this Gospel Manager on YouTube and also on Facebook. We can't wait to have you. It's going to be a remarkable time in God's presence. Now, also please join us this week, Sunday, for the Children's Convention. It's going to be an amazing time as the children of this house, the Honor World International, and the kids of Dr. Maxwell Golden Egbe will be celebrating their convention. It's this Sunday, the 1st of June at 6:30 a.m., 8:30 a.m., and 10:30 a.m., and it's themed The Recommended. So wherever you are, I want to encourage you to stream so that your children can be part of that service and get live lessons from Dr. Maxwell Golden Egbe, how to live their lives and also how to navigate their paths in life. Remember, when you are not there, it is the teachings that they hold that will guide them. And so avail them this Sunday at the three services to be part of what God has for the children of this house, the Honor World International. As you do so, we know God's going to bless you immensely in Jesus' precious name. Now we move over to the next segments of questions, and this is under the business and career. And this is from Philip Schweible. Says, good morning, Bishop. Many young Nigerians are losing hope as they work hard but remain unemployed and underpaid. What can fate realistically offer in such frustrations? Because fair enough to them, they are working really hard, but then nothing seems to work because of the state of our economy. So how do you help them build faith and keep resilience in order to achieve their dreams and goals?
Value for country. Value for country is the first part of progress. If we don't have strong value for our country, we will not progress. And check anybody who's in the system that does not have value for it. Though you are gifted, you will not progress. So value for country is what produces revenue. When we value our country, revenues will be produced. I have always told people that there is nothing stagnant. that was not created by a man. Stagnation is manly produced. It's nothing demonic in it. Man refused to think better, so he will be stagnant. So when you are not thinking right, and that's why I keep telling, why do you delay people? Why do you choose to delay things? That's one nature I hate. Why are you delaying things? You delay people, you delay things. Who taught you that kind of life? Because that's the circle we find ourselves in this country. Like to see things that they are not working. Why there are revenues everywhere? The richest man in Africa is eating from salt, eating from cement. He brought those ideas himself. We need to exercise our minds, like Hebrews 5 from verse 14 spoke about. Exercise our minds enough to know that we can produce. Faith is simply believing in where you are and what you can achieve. That's what faith is all about. Believing in where you are first, then what you can do second, then go ahead to do it. So if you don't believe in your country, you don't believe in the job you do, you don't believe in where you are, how do you function? So we must go and reprogram ourselves back and believe where we are, believe what we do, and believe what we can do. Then I tell you, results can come out anywhere on the earth connecting to this nation. So this is it's not an ultimate guide. It's just my part of guide that will help anybody who's listening.
Thank you so much. Now, this next one says, good morning, Bishop. How do you keep your integrity in business when corruption seems like the only way forward in our system? And Chibuzo also says, Bishop, good morning. I just enjoy the gospel manager. In short, Bishop, you are my guy. Have you ever had to advise someone who walk away from a job that pays well but compromises your values? And if you have, what happened afterwards?
Choices are very powerful. Sometimes, we should stop trying to make more monies. The problem is trying to make more monies. So when people try to make more monies, they take multiple decisions. So when you are content with yourself, and then you know that I am adding value, the problem of departure is not adding value. I have always asked, why will I leave a place that I am building? I don't understand why will I do that? I can't see myself leaving a place that I am building myself. It's even stupid for me to leave a place that I am building. So when you have a program, you are the reason for things to work. Departure will never be a problem. And if you are also the reason, integrity will not be a problem. So when you are the reason for something to work, you understand the value of integrity and the value of sustainability. So people today don't have any stake in any system. They are not stakeholders in the place, so they just stay there. The day anything looks different in the system, they are gone. Because they are not stakeholders. If you see a stakeholder in a place, you can never doubt his body language. I have always told anybody who is offended all the time is not a stakeholder. A stakeholder is seeing the reasons for lessons and reasons for what to do. So no matter how much you earn and you are trying to move, what's the essence of movement? Is it for more monies or for what? If you are relevant there, you will move. The problem is not cash. The problem here is relevance. When you are not relevant in a place, you think money is not everything. Money is the last currency on the earth. The first currency of life is integrity. Second currency of life is capacity. Third is competence. That's it. Before currency even comes in. Let's just even add commitment. After commitment, then comes currency. But today, people move currency to number one and throw away integrity, throw away capacity, throw away competence, throw away commitment, and then hold strong on currency. And that's why there's no result. So let us understand that these 5 things about life, if you want to do anything, integrity, capacity, competence, commitment, then currency. And these 4 things will feed you here, which we don't have, and people don't have it anymore. Struggling to keep a lot of things. People are literally begged to work, begged to do their own job, begged to think. Somebody is being begged to reason. And then he tells you he forgot. The person tells you, I didn't know. The person is telling you, job you get, the person tells you, but I have done it now. Very casual. No sense of job emergency. Things can be stagnant. And it's very poor the way I see people do their thing. They don't make, and let me end with this, people don't make their bosses work better. Secretaries don't make their bosses work better. PAs, no. They make their bosses look like chiefs. No. Bosses don't work better anymore. If you don't remind them, they can't remind you. If you are smart, they will dress you backwards. People who walk around leaders now have their own time. They don't work by the time of their bosses anymore. And it's affecting a lot of things. And if a boss is not capacity enough, that boss can be dragged into vision delay. Because things not done when it's supposed to be done, you are killing the vision already without even knowing. So we need to look at a lot of things when it has to do with that and stop putting money in any working assignment.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, and Rosalind puts in a quick one. She said, good morning, Bishop. You just made a statement that why will I leave a place I am building myself? Can you throw more light on that? Okay, I think what God's servant is trying to say is not talking about self-development. It's talking about building a vision. Of course, when you're building a vision and you are sincere about it, you also self-develop. So that is clarified. Now we take the last question for this episode, and this is on politics. And he says, good morning, Bishop. Pastor, please, in the light of our broken political system, how can Christians respond? Is it through activism, prayer, silence, or action? Or what are the ways we can actually change the course of our political system?
Before I answer that, that thing about building a system, when you have people who are in a system appreciate other systems than the system, that's the problem. And that's why they will live there. I don't watch pastors who are not in my tribe. I don't know what they do in their churches. I don't want to know. I don't just know. Because I don't want to make references to them. So I stay on the lane of what I believe in. So when you are in the system and you want to see it grow, you will not refer to a growing system against your own place. Rather, you are picking lessons to grow where you are. Now, for politics, Christians have to communicate properly. Communication is what politics lacks in this country. If we can communicate values and virtue, because it is values and virtue we need to communicate. If we can really communicate values and virtue, then we can do politics effectively. So when these 2 things are not communicated, it will be wrong politics.
Now there's a special program coming up in the month of June, and it's Friday the 13th of June with the women of this church and our First Lady is tagged Miracles with the First Lady. It's an interdenominational prayer program specially carved out for women to pray out their lives, their families, and also stand in the gap for their entire generation and family. Now, it's scheduled for midnight at 12 midnight, but there's a special feature on that day because from 9 p.m. the women will be given free gifts and also free medical attention will be given to people who want to have medical checkups and all that. So please be part of that service. Remember, it's Friday the 13th of June 2025 with our First Lady, our Mother, Reverend Vivian Gold Egbe is hosting. And it's going to be an incredible night of encounter and fervent prayer. And be part of that. So ignite your prayer life and also stand in the gap on behalf of your family. And also, if you desire to deepen your knowledge of scriptures, then be part of our June edition for the Honor Bible School. It's going to be an amazing time here at the Honor World, and the date is scheduled for Friday the 6th and 13th of June 2025 and Saturday the 7th and 14th of June 2025. The time for Fridays is 4 p.m. and the timing for Saturdays is 8 a.m. It's going to be a profound way to enlighten yourself and build your foundation of scriptures and prepare yourself for your Christian journey. We can't wait to have you wherever you are. Please register and be part of it. It's happening live at the Honor World International, Rehoboth City, along Asaba Ibuzo Expressway. Please make it a date as you ignite yourself. So we're going to end the section this morning. But before I go, I want to allow God's servant to bless us for the weekend and also give us the word in his heart.
Role playing is a very powerful thing we must learn how to do. And how do I do that? Study your role, play it effectively, then master it, then become a blessing in that role. Let us study our roles, play it effectively, master it, then in return be a blessing to the privilege of having the opportunity to play that role. Because if roles are really being played, there will be no crisis in life. Every crisis you see about man is roles not properly played. I'm telling you, if a pastor plays his role well, and the sheep play their roles well, there will be a healthy church. Some pastors are playing their role well, the sheep are not. No healthy church. Some sheep are playing their roles well, the shepherd is playing his role wrong. Some marriages, husband is doing well, wife is doing poorly. Wife is doing well, husband is doing poorly, children are doing well, parents are doing poorly. Some businesses, the workers are doing well, the leader is doing poorly. The leader is doing well, the workers are doing poorly. So if we all can play our roles well, there will be no crisis on the earth. So I pray, my prayer for everybody here is the grace to play your role this weekend. Go out and master your role and play it. Then become a blessing to someone's life. Be a blessing to your office. Be a blessing to your family. Be a blessing to your church. And be a blessing to life in general. Remember, impact is a name that never dies. Name will die, but with impact around your name remains everlasting. So I pray that we use this revenue and build impact for ourselves. God bless you.
Heard it from God's servant, our Father. The number one rule to avoiding crisis is playing your role, master it, and also become a blessing to everyone around you. That's how to get impact. Impact is, in fact, the way out in the facts of life. Life is beautiful. You, my friend, can handle it. Gospel Manager returns on Monday at 7 a.m. and we can't wait to have you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. God bless you.
is an amazing testimony. She said for the past 6 years, she has been having these pains, and she thought it was a normal pain. That normally when she goes for checkup, they will tell her to come back. But in January this year, she was scheduled for an operation. They told her that there is fluid at her back region, that's around the spinal cord. And it was because of that fluid that she did the operation by the end of January. But by the beginning of February this year, the pain started again and it became worse. That in fact, she can't sit down for more than 30 minutes. She can't stand well. She can't bend, and she bent now. She said she has not done this for over 2 months. And secondly, that pain affects her head. That whenever she's in a noisy atmosphere, she begins to have seizure. But right now, as soon as you gave the word of knowledge and you touched her, all the pains disappeared. The bending that she has done now, she hasn't done for a long time.
Is an event to pattern the believer for a miracle in life. Battle and Rattle is God's event to stop and enforce the traders of darkness that are standing against our destinies. Also, Battle and Rattle is God's event to settle difficult circumstances in the believer's life. Any satanic investment in your office, investment in your family that traps people's progress and age, so they put sickness in your body that you will use the money to treat yourself and reverse that judgment. Whatever has taken any life in your family, it will never take your own life. It will never take your own life. Today, fire from the communion will hit your flesh. Every system of affliction dies in the name of Jesus. You are living here liberated, sanctified in your mind. Rabako, every fear of premature death hanging on any life here tonight, as you engage this table, it dies tonight. It dies tonight. It dies tonight. It dies tonight. In the name of Jesus.